From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Greetings, everyone. It's great to have you here on the Badass Counseling Show. No matter where you are tuning in from, whether it's down under in Australia, all of the listeners we have down there, over in the UK, in Bath and Yorkshire, it's great to have you here up in Canada and all around the world. Thanks for tuning in all across the United States, from west to east, north to south. We love having you listening in on our show and all the questions you send in, and all of you who listen in and write in and want to come on the show. And if you, for some reason, would like to come on the show, would like to be considered to come on the show to counsel with me, just write into production@badasscounseling.com. I'm joined in studio by my regular team, Casey over in the booth, and Rob the Rocket next to me. What say ye, Rob?
Ready to rock and roll. I love our listeners and the people that participate in the show. It makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, we just had... We had a few folks write in just very recently, one about an episode that we had with Susu. Do you remember someone writing in just this last week? I know I sent it to you and KC.
Oh, yeah.
My assistant had sent it to me, and how that particular episode had really shaken her in a good way, and she identified with Susu in that episode. So we get those all the time, but for some reason that one stuck out at me, for no other reason than we have never had anyone on this show named Susu before. So that, for whatever reason, when Kate put that in my email this week, I'm like, okay, that's weird.
A lot of other cool names, but not that one.
Yeah, there are cool names, and Sven is not one of them. All right, so Rob, tell us about our guests today. We actually, folks, I want to highlight before Rob reads this. Today we have, I think, what would you say, Rob? Three times in the history of the show, we have had someone come on who is a self-proclaimed, what we call extreme taker, what the outside world, outside of Badass Counseling world, calls a narcissist. This is about the third time we've had someone come on saying, I am one and I want help.
Yeah, so always good episodes. Always
good episodes. Because if you got the balls to come on and admit that, and when people know my method, that's a courageous thing. And a person willing to change when they know they've hurt people, I respect that out of anyone. So, Rob, go ahead and tell us about Dunlap, please.
All right, Sven. Dunlap wrote in and said, for most of my adult life, I've struggled with being what Sven would call an extreme taker. I didn't have that language before, but the moment I heard it, everything finally clicked. I've spent years repeating the same destructive patterns, pushing away the people who love me, sabotaging stability, and letting my fears and impulses override my values. I quit drinking and smoking pot and have been on a growth journey for a couple of years, but even with those positive changes, the deeper emotional behaviors have stayed. I'm in a relationship with an incredible woman who continues to show me love, loyalty, and patience, even when my actions make her feel unwanted or hurt. I've tried individual and couples therapy, but I still fall into the same cycles: withdrawing, getting defensive, shutting down, avoiding accountability, or clinging out of fear. I can see the impact on her and on my family, and it scares me. I'm tired of living in patterns that don't match the man I want to be. I want to break this cycle before I lose the best thing that's ever happened to me. I want my partner to finally experience the version of me that I've never been able to fully become. I want to talk with Sven, because his direct, no-bullshit approach is the only thing that has ever made me truly confront myself.
Dunlap, welcome to the show.
Yes, glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here. Thanks for coming on. I want to start by asking you how old you are.
I am 38 years old.
38 years old. All right. And how long have you been an extreme taker?
My whole life, but within the past couple of years, learning narcissism, and then I started listening to your show and heard extreme taker, and that episode just rocked me.
Why? What specifically?
Just what I've learned, that's what I've done, is I've just used everybody in my life around me and worried about myself. So,
and when did that start, where you started using people? I mean, go back as far as you can. You became conscious of it recently, and and that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's great that you're conscious of it. Everything starts at awareness. But Looking back then, when do you think you started, whether you were conscious of it at the time, when do you think you really started using people? Or yeah, just start with that.
Probably shortly after I graduated.
High school.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just say 18, 19, somewhere in there.
20 years, my reunion this year.
That's when you started using people. What were you doing prior to that? Why 18? Why not 14? Why not 23? Why 18?
It happened shortly after my parents got divorced, around that age, and then I kind of got thrown into being the man of the house, so to speak. And
And what specifically did that mean in one sentence or less? Man of the house. So obviously that means dad's gone.
I didn't matter.
But okay, but that is almost the opposite of man of the house. Well, often when we think of man of the house, we think, oh, I'm king of the castle and I get whatever I want, or I have to take care of everything and I got to do all the work or whatever. But you mean it differently. I didn't matter. So when you say, was that an accident when you said I was the man of the house, or what did you mean when you said that?
Meaning I could just be ignored for the things I want to do, but I was putting everybody in front of me,
Okay.
taking care of chores, helping my mom and my sisters growing up. So
Okay. I see. So it's you didn't matter. It's what you were doing, what you were expected to do for everyone else and helping mom out. Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah,
Got it. Okay. That
yeah,
makes more sense. That makes more sense. And so you started using people around that time. And so looking back, who did you first start using?
I like to think it was more like sexual using. It's when I really got active, and I just would also growing up in high school, I just felt like I wasn't important, I wasn't enough, and so I tried to, after graduating, prove somehow that I was a man by being, trying to be with women.
Sure.
And
And,
then I started smoking pot and drinking around that time, and just didn't ever think about true deep feelings. Was always looking for that high.
well, sure. And I got to believe that uh, the true deep feelings, there was probably a lot of really crummy ones down there that you didn't want to touch.
Yeah.
They
Oh yeah.
hurt. Right. The
Yeah.
last thing you fucking wanted was to feel that stuff. And so you were using, fundamentally then you were using pot and drinking. But as far as people, you started using girls sexually to prove yourself, prove your manhood to yourself, and also make you feel like a man. Obviously, that's what that means, but also to get the experience of that tremendous feeling of feeling wanted, feeling just physical affection, skin hunger, but also perhaps feelings of conquest, that sort of thing. Feeling,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, all of that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure. And okay. And so that's when that started. Just out of curiosity though, did your did you and I know this is going to sound strange based on what you just said, but when dad was home before the divorce, if divorce happens around 18, are you saying that in the first 18 years of your life you did matter?
More so. Yeah. Yeah. Because I didn't get split up between parents at that point, and I was living with my mother, and she, um, alcoholic, and another extreme user, taker. Basically, kind of towards the end, robbed my entire childhood.
Okay, so now we're not talking about just 18, robbed my entire childhood. And did she become an alcoholic at the time of the divorce, or had she always been an alcoholic?
It was definitely more towards when they divorced, and then me getting older and also recognizing what was going on. Um,
And so
Yeah.
you said she robbed you of your entire childhood. They didn't start having marital problems when you were 18. They got a divorce when you were 18
Yeah.
or shortly thereafter. Right. So that means the problems had been going on for quite some time.
Oh, yeah.
And you said she robbed me of my entire childhood.
Yeah.
How, in one sentence, did mom treat you through your entire childhood? If you were to sum it up.
Ultimately, I didn't matter.
Right. Choose a different sentence or sum it up in words without that phrase. How did she treat you? What did she do? When you say rob me of my entire childhood, how?
I couldn't be a child most of the time. I had to be
What did you have to be?
responsible.
Okay, so you didn't become responsible and the man of the house at 18 at the time of the divorce.
No.
No. You're saying it had already been going on for some time.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did it start?
Probably 14. I
Okay.
started working.
Okay, but dad's living at home at that point, right?
Yeah, but he was so emotionally unattached, and I got to go fishing with him a handful of times, but most of the time he was always by himself. And same thing with my mom. She would be working a lot of times. And so when I started working, she would steal money from me, so that was pretty traumatic. And also do it to my siblings, and I had to grow up on my own. I didn't really get a lot of guidance, looking back. That's why I feel like I got robbed of it, because she wasn't there, being there for us kids.
What about before age 14? Or did she just become a fucking asshole at 14? Did dad check out at age 14? What happened at, say, 8, 6, 9?
Yeah, I guess still kind of put off to the side.
Put off to the side. And so, without using the phrase, I didn't matter, what was the main message, or what did you feel back then? What do you remember thinking about yourself back then? What was going on inside of you back then?
Am I desirable? Am I wanted? I feel alone.
Boy, you think about that in terms of what you ended up doing then at 18, 19, 20, 21, and using women. That answers perfectly those questions. Shit, I am desirable. I am wanted. I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the perfect drug right there. You feel desired, you feel wanted, and you feel like you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's a no goddamn brainer. And so the child that grows up feeling put off to the side, that child is going to run those messages. I feel so alone. I feel lonely. And the child's brain, if the child is neglected, they'll start creating a story from those questions. Am I desirable? Am I wanted? Let me ask you this. Did your brain, and it would be totally understandable, and plenty of kids do, and maybe yours did, maybe it didn't. Did your brain as a child go the next logical step then from am I desirable? Am I wanted? To I'm not desirable. Nobody wants me. I'm not wantable.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Right. And it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if your wife were to leave you now, tell me your brain wouldn't go to, God, I'm a piece of shit. God, I'm such a fucking asshole. God, I'm this, I'm that. We do it as adults. How much more so would we do it as a child? Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Total
Right.
difference.
Okay. So then, one of the things you talk about is, so you talk about using people, okay? And you talk about how you do it now, even with your own family, with your wife, with your children, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think you are fundamentally using them for?
I guess I'm more trying to come off as parenting, but sometimes it can be nitpicky, because I'll be having things going on that I don't even know is going on with myself, and I'll start finding other problems to blame it on instead of addressing what's really going on down deep.
And what is really going on down deep usually?
Nothing. I never really got to that
But if you were
level.
to, but if just sort of spinning backwards, if you were to sort of look backwards, what would you say, generally speaking, is going on down deep?
Just trying to bury it, hide it.
Hide what? Bury what?
All those feelings I had growing up that I had to push aside.
But why
And
would they be coming up now at 38 or at 34 or, 41? Why would they be coming up now?
because I've just finally now had the clarity of seeing everything. I've been got going to therapy and really challenging myself, and I will be doing good. Our relationship will be doing good. And then the dumbest little things I could change that I know about, I self-sabotage, and then I have to play, you know, makeup and work 10 times harder, when if I would have just done it right the first time and I know about it, then life would be so much easier.
Yeah,
And
yeah. But when you're in the transition phase of healing, I mean, it's just like the transition phase of, trying to shed 50 pounds. You can get on those good habits and I'm cruising along. Gosh, I lost 12 pounds in the last, 14 weeks but then fuck, Thanksgiving came along and I put on 4 pounds. I'm so mad at myself. I slid backwards, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, yeah, it happens. You get back on and you go back to training and you go back in it. You're going to slide backwards at times. It's part of it. It's okay. It's okay. Unfortunately, in your case, you've used up a lot of chits, when it comes to the wife and the
oh my
kids.
God.
Right. And so there's fear, a lot of fear in there. And presumably, I'm guessing your fear is that she'll leave you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That I will lose everything that I've worked so hard to get.
Right. And to which it could be argued, but obviously you haven't really worked so hard
Yeah,
at the real
absolutely.
shit. I mean, not trying
Yeah.
to be a dick or anything, but
No, I
right.
fully agree. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
And so you talk about the impact on her. You say I can see the impact on her and on my family, and it scares me. I'm tired of living in patterns that don't match the man I want to be. Okay. The impact on her, if you were to sum up the impact on her in one sentence or less, what is the impact on your wife?
Just the most unnecessary stress that you could cause a person, especially the one that you love. And if
And
you truly love that person, why would you do that to them?
unnecessary stress. And by stress, you mean what specifically? One sentence.
Me not manning up and making good decisions.
But what are we talking about? Have you cheated on her?
No, I've never cheated on her.
Okay, then what are we talking about? Making good decisions. What are we talking about?
Well, the last struggle that I have since I quit drinking pot, or drinking and smoking pot, my other addiction, as we've discussed, was women. And so I obviously would use a lot of porn. And so there's been so many times that it's been an issue, um, because that's something that she does not uh, allow or believe in. And, I'm trying to make that transition because I also see how it can affect a relationship. And like, I want her to know that I'm fully committed to her.
Yeah, understandable. So you're aware, you're not causing her unnecessary stress. Saying you cause her unnecessary stress is like saying I had a couple of beers last night when I drank fucking a case and a half. You're causing her enormous pain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It
So
is,
much.
and what the porn is to I know this may sound weird, but with my first wife, I used to get really hurt if she had like talked to other guys or especially laugh with another guy, even if it was like a cousin or something. I got offended. The fear that she likes someone more than me, or if she commented about, wow, that guy's got great shoulders. She used to like shoulders, like volleyball players have great shoulders, gymnasts have great shoulders. And man, it was just like, because I felt, you want to take a guess at what I felt?
Not desirable.
Right. Insecure, not desirable. Take your word from your fucking childhood. Right. Yeah. And so when you look at porn, it's not so much about the stopping porn. It's not even about, gee, I'm innately against porn. Porn is evil or something like that. I mean, maybe it's some of that too. But it's fundamentally conveying to her, you're not good enough. You're not desirable to me. You're not enough. Yeah. I don't like you the way you are. I want more.
I know.
And right. And I know you know this, but here's the thing. As I talk about in the book, there's a hole in my love cup. Trying to change behaviors never changes behaviors long term. Until you drill down to the core beliefs driving the behaviors, it's going to take a massive amount of willpower to change those behaviors, and very often you're going to rubber band back to them. And so what's driving those behaviors is the messaging that you were taught about yourself by the absence of parent number one and the absence and outright using of you by parent number two, mom. That you were stepped on, you were squashed, you were stolen from, you were used for, doing her work and doing dad's work of taking care of, doing all the chores and taking care of your family, your sisters, whatever, and being the man of the house, and you didn't fucking matter. And the little child is saying, but am I desirable? Am I wantable? And I feel so alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that desire, every time you get off or feel desirable, or every time you're using porn, to think that a woman like that you're looking at, or the four women, or whatever your fetishes are, it makes you feel wantable and wanted and wantable. And so it's scratching that itch that has been there, that was driven into you. You were taught a set of beliefs that was bullshit from the beginning.
Yeah.
How old are your children, roughly?
We got from 22 down to 5. There's 6.
There's 6. Wow. All right. Prolific. And so just out of curiosity, let's take the 5-year-old. Is your 5-year-old innately, their spirit and who they are, an unwantable child?
No.
No, it's fucking stupid to even consider the thought, isn't it?
Possible. Yeah.
Right. What about your 16 or 15-year-old? Are they innately undesirable? I'm sure they can be a pain in the ass at that age, but are they innately, intrinsically an undesirable, unwantable, unlovable person?
No, absolutely not.
Right. And I'm assuming that you're going to say the same thing for all 4 of the other ones as well, right?
Yeah, all of them.
Right. Is it reasonable to assume that when your wife was a child, she was a sweet spirit, beautiful, smart, kind, creative, rambunctious, filled with laughter and serious and all those things? She was a wonderful kid. Safe to say, innately lovable, right?
Yeah.
So then what about Dunlap when he was 5 and 9 and 13? Was he an innately lovable, wantable person?
Yeah.
What percent did you feel loved as a child?
Oh, I don't know. Probably
looking back.
20%.
Wow. Bigger than I would have guessed. We're going to go more into that right after this short break.
You've heard Sven talk a lot about his book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. And that's because Sven hears from his followers a lot about how much the book has helped them. If you're not sure how to handle the issues getting in the way of a better life, you're not alone. And you have a lot of choices. But thousands of readers will tell you that this is a great place to start, by yourself and at your own pace. So go to badasscounseling.com and order There's a Hole in My Love Cup, and you'll have Sven right there with you as you forge your best future. It's totally badass. So get started today.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
And we are back with Dunlap. Dunlap, one of the things you talk about, it's interesting the word choices you make in your write-up. You said that you have these destructive patterns. You spent years repeating the same destructive patterns, pushing away. And then you talk about a little further down, withdrawing, getting defensive, shutting down, avoiding. So you've got pushing away, withdrawing, shutting down, avoiding. So you're running. All of those are running. You are running. What in life, what are you generally running from? When does that usually happen? What's the thread running from? What happens inside of you? What's happening outside of you? And what happens inside of you when you withdraw, shut down, avoid, push away?
That I made a mistake.
And what would happen, just out of curiosity, when you were a kid and you made a mistake?
Get in trouble, obviously, depending on what it was, but
By whom? Mom, dad, sibling?
mom primarily.
And if you made a mistake, now, if you made a mistake, was it yelling, screaming? Was it some sort of verbal criticism? What was usually said or what was usually done if you made a mistake?
Just a lot of disappointment, and there could be screaming at times.
And do you recall any phrases that any messages that you got, anything that you were taught to believe about yourself in those mistakes and in the disappointment and so forth?
I don't know. How dare you make a mistake? You're a child, you should know better. But then you see the parent obviously not giving a crap.
Would she literally say, "How dare you make a mistake"? It's kind of a weird sentence.
No, just
And "you're a child, you should know better" is a really weird sentence. That's something you'd say to a teenager. You're a teenager, you should know better. You're doing good though. You're in the ballpark. Try to remember what you heard.
I guess that's what I would take it as, but what she would say.
Take your time. I know it's uncomfortable. Just take your time. You're doing great.
You fuck up.
Oh,
I can't believe
hold on. That's a whole lot of different from, gosh darn, you made a mistake. You should know better. You're a fuck up. Yeah, okay. What did you say after you're a fuck up?
You should know better.
You're a fuck up. You should know better. And when she would say, "You're a fuck up. You should know better," what did you feel? Now, this is where it's really uncomfortable. I want you to just think back. And if you can remember, just feel it, man. Just feel it if you can. You're a fuck up. You should know better.
Just so much disappointment, I guess, in myself. Sadness that I disappointed my mom. Yeah, that's when I'd shut down and go into my little shell and hide. Or I call it my workshop now.
Interesting. And is there an actual physical workshop that you go to, or is it just my internal workshop?
Just in my brain.
Yep.
When I try to sidetrack myself with what's really going on.
Sidetrack yourself from what's really going on outside of you, now inside of you, and you shut down. And what happens? What do you do inside of you when you go to your workshop?
I just ignore and try to find a happy, find a high.
So going to the workshop is almost a sort of weird meditation. I'm trying to redirect my mind away from these painful thoughts and mixed with memories and the emotional charges attached to those that memory, the memories of, God, I'm a fuck up. I disappointed mom again. And so now I have to withdraw into myself to redirect my focus off of that extraordinary, painful thing, that the mere memory of it electrocutes me inside. It's that triggering, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like shaking now just
Are you?
about all this. I'm just so anxious and nervous, and
You're doing great, buddy. You're doing great. No one's going to hurt you here. No one's going to hurt you. You were a little boy.
yeah, that's what she says. She says, "Stop being your little boy. Like, I'm here to take care of you." And
She said that?
that's what my wife says to me.
Okay.
Like, she's the total opposite. She is the mother I wish I had growing up, and I don't know if that comes off weird or whatever.
No, not
Like,
at all.
she's we're engaged. I mean, I want to spend the rest of my life with her. We've been together for 6 years, and the first 3 years I just terrorized her and us and just hurt all the time and put so much damage in our relationship. And just for her to stick by my side through all this and keep giving me constant redos means the world. And so I really want to try to make sure that I can give that back to her.
And your voice is breaking up a bit. What do you give me a feeling word that you're feeling right now?
Just deeply saddened,
Yeah.
Finding compassion for her and looking back on how much hurt and pain I've caused, like really trying to understand that so I can remember that when I have a challenge ahead in life and, make the right choice.
Yeah. What will do you even, and that's great, and that's really good. What'll do you even better is the more you can focus on and have compassion for and feel this sadness for that little boy. Why? Because every time you allow yourself to feel that sadness, welcome it rather than refocus. Welcome it. Welcome the feelings rather than channel in a new direction and distract and get high or go, masturbate to some girl, online, whatever. Every time you can stay in it just a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, you're bringing up the feelings that have been spilling out onto all the people you claim to love. So compassion for her is great, but that's an attempt to solve your everyday behaviors, and that's good. But to solve the actual problem, the root of the problem, requires compassion for that boy, which means you as a man, because that little boy is coming to you now, and he's saying,
"Oh yeah,
please, you're a man, you're stronger than I am. Please help me get these feelings out because it's so heavy on me.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad, but you're stronger than I am. And so you have the power to set him free so that he's not hating on himself." I'm just wondering, was there a feeling that was less allowed in your home, sadness or anger or joy, or was there a feeling that you sort of weren't allowed to feel? Like, some homes, big boys don't cry, or no anger was allowed, or you'd get a whooping, or were there any feelings that weren't allowed?
Love.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what about any things like sad or anger?
I mean, probably more so sad.
Right. And then I'm willing to bet that is where you're going to get a lot of your most growth. And the challenge to you is not, I know for your wife, the frustration is when you retreat into yourself. And I know to most therapists, that's going to look like the problem. They're going to say, don't retreat, don't retreat. And that, yes, eventually, but the real challenge to you is not the don't retreat, not at first. The real challenge to you in your own self-work is when you do retreat, don't redirect.
Yeah.
In other words, if you can retreat, if you can actually, in a situation where you're getting hopped up inside around family or something, and you can actually withdraw rather than spill it out on someone, that's actually a plus. Fuck, great. Okay. But we know that you retreat when you feel like you've made a mistake. So you've already sort of fucked it up or feel like you're fucked it up and you feel bad. So when you go to retreat, let's start by, rather than trying to not retreat, what if we started with when you are in your workshop, as you call it? Get a piece of paper and just write at the top of the piece of paper, what am I feeling right now? And you're going to start shaking like you are now with me. You're going to start shaking and it's going to feel so uncomfortable. And even if you just write, I'm shaking and I'm nervous and I fucking hate Sven for fucking making me do this. He's a fucking cocksucker. I want to punch him in the fucking pie hole. Do that. Do that. That's okay. All right? But at least the ink is going on to the paper. And that's where we start. Even if it's just the first few sentences, but the more you do it a little bit and a little bit more, this is where it starts. Because fundamentally what this is, now my viewers can't see you, but I can see you. And I can see that you're in pretty good shape. So you take good care of yourself. I can tell, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you and I both know that how much respect, I mean, I know I do. I have respect for somebody who comes into the gym and they're 100 pounds overweight and they're in the gym. I respect that. I actually respect it in some ways more than, other big, strong guys like me or big, strong, women in the gym. I respect somebody who's getting their ass to the gym when they're 100 pounds overweight or more. The courage, because they're grinding little bit by little bit. And to stay, or somebody who has, several $100,000 of debt and they're making those payments and they're grinding and it seems insurmountable, but they're doing it. I respect that. So you making those small payments of purging that stuff out, even a little bit by a little bit, it's going to pay off. But I want to go back to this. So the challenge to you is to stay in those feelings when you're nervous, when it's scary. It's not even the withdrawing from others that is the real problem. It's when you're withdrawing from yourself. You see the difference?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think that little boy was most wanting?
Love, a hug. You matter.
What words would have been like just balm to your soul?
I care about you so much.
You mentioned that you and your wife are actually engaged to be married presently?
Yes.
But you have 6 kids and you've known each other 6 years. Okay.
Yes. So she had previous kids and I had previous kids, and then we got together and we have the youngest one together.
Got it.
So big blended family, and 5 cats, 2 bunnies, full house.
All the more things to distract you from all this shit.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And of all your kids, who have you been the biggest fucking asshole to? Which
I would have to say the 12-year-old, because her and I are like identical in our behavior and how we treat my wife, her mom.
I see. And so you are the worst to the 12-year-old because why? In one sentence.
I expect better.
Is the 12-year-old yours or hers?
Hers.
And what do you think are the words 12-year-old most wants to hear?
Is that you matter and you're loved.
And I care about you so much.
Yeah.
And she's just wanting love, just like you did.
Yeah. Yeah. She's had a pretty difficult challenge between her mom and the father with the divorce, and then just the father just completely going AWOL.
And you have the opportunity, in a way, to be the hero.
Yeah, and I try.
In terms of just being the nice guy that accepts her and leave mom to defend her own borders. Mom's a grown-ass woman.
I know she's amazing, and I, wish that she was my mom growing up.
Understood, but what I'm saying is, at the very least, you can sit down with the 12-year-old. One thought. These are just some ideas. We're going to spitball here. Sit down with her and say, "Hey, I've hurt you, and I've been a dick at times, and it's not okay. And I want you to know I do care about you. And I am striving to do better, and I'm going to make mistakes again, and I'm going to strive to reduce those more and more. But I do care about you." And then, you got to strive to fucking reduce that, and not just strive, but succeed. But that child is so longing for her mother's love. You got 6 kids now, and all those fucking animals and shit. And all those animals, and hey, you love animals, God bless you. Nothing wrong with that, except those are more things taking your energy, taking your resources, your attention, your time. In a way, those animals on top of job and, whatever, and just the things you need for you to just make you feel, recharge your batteries. Those things are zapping your energy. They're stealing your children's childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that to scold you, but these are opportunities where, let me ask you this, where changes can be made. And it's just, oftentimes the changes that we make aren't massive reorientations. Let me ask you this, prioritizing something, not dropping something from first priority to fourth priority, or taking something from 7th priority and moving it up to 3rd priority. Sometimes if I move something from priority 1A to priority 1B, and then I move priority 3C down to priority 3D, I've just freed up some resources, some time, some attention that I can now move priority 2B all the way up to 1D. In other words, it's oftentimes not the big adjustments, it's the small adjustments that get us going the furthest down the road, at least to start. What do you think is the biggest small adjustment you can make that at least out of the gate would have the biggest impact?
Pause before I respond now. I can't. It's the hardest thing for me to do, and sometimes I do, and I have that compassion and understanding and don't take it as an attack, and then other times it's like just being stabbed in the heart.
Yeah, and dude, what that is, you're trying to change a behavior. What that is your vault of all your past feelings is so stuffed that 2-foot thick vault door is bulging. From that vault is so packed with so much pain, so many fears, and so many bullshit beliefs you've been taught about yourself, that the only way to solve that problem is you got to be madly flushing that shit out.
Yeah.
I mean, like hardcore. If you devote yourself to nothing else, I'd give yourself start by giving yourself a 3-month reprieve minimum of having to worry about trying to change your behaviors. I know that sounds insane. If you were to focus that same energy on trying to change your beliefs, and you change your beliefs by getting out all the crud, they will begin to change by themselves. The more you focus on getting out the pain, all that pain and the rage and all the sadness, that alone, because what it is you all those past events and memories that have all those emotional charges, those are like sticks of dynamite inside of you.
Yeah.
So you've got all these fucking sticks of dynamite. And every last goddamn thing is like either a lighter or a fucking match.
Yeah.
And it just fucking lights the fucking dynamite. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And so it's
I
like,
would try to run away.
what's that?
Then I try to run away because I don't want to deal with it.
Understood.
It's just too much.
Understood. I totally understand. But the bottom line is you got two choices. Well, I can either try to avoid, matches and lighters, or I got to go inside because you are a ticking motherfucking time bomb. And I'm not saying it to dog you. It just is. And you acknowledge that. You're like, I got all this shit inside of me, but you're not going to be able to change your behaviors until you get those dynamites out of you. Well, how do you do that? By going inside, and you have to begin to go into those memories. Draw up those memories. Welcome the feelings. So that's phase one, bringing it all up. And then phase two is giving it a point of exit. And it's just repeating this. I had a client just today. And this is a woman, roughly your age, I think 41, whatever. And she's been counseling with me for, I don't know, a year and a half, off and on. And this woman religiously does the work that I tell her. I mean, like hardcore religiously. And but she came into session today and she had gotten hit with a whopper in terms of the family member closest to her has gotten just diagnosed stage 3 cancer. And it just fucking knocked her off her ass. And so even though she does the work and all the stuff of doing what I say, and she has made massive life change and so forth, there's still things that knock us down. But she was so locked up tight in her old self. And it took devotion to the work. But she said, Sven, I basically had to make the work of going inside, going to your workshop, as you call it.
Yeah.
I had to make that my full-time job, and it worked. It worked. You have to make this your full-time job. This is, I realize you have a real full-time job, but I think you know what I mean. With the same devotion, or even in place of going to the fucking gym. Because the bottom line is you are that close to losing it.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, people say, well, a narcissist ever change? I said, only one thing ever makes them change, and that's the pain from loss. And you are on the cusp of that loss, and you know it.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's just it's you are having a serious come to Jesus moment. And the truth is, she's got her own shit going on inside of her. She's got pain from her own childhood that's causing her to stay with someone who's been treating her this way. But she will reach a point where it's just like, no, this is too much, and you've done too much. You've hurt me too much, and you're having that, and you're potentially about to destroy then kids and lives and so on and so forth and so forth. And so it's like, you have to do this work. There is no question, because you're not just trying to change your behaviors is not the answer.
Yeah.
What's the scariest part about the thought of doing this work?
My first thought was the unknown, but then I think I know what would happen if I did the work. I would have a peaceful, happy relationship in life.
Fair. So then when you say the unknown, what is the biggest thing in the unknown that you fear potentially happening?
That, I guess the unknown part is if I don't do this, all that would trickle from it.
Understood. But that's known, that if I don't do this, she's out and then my life falls apart. But I'm asking, what's the part of actually going in and doing the work that's so scary? And you said the unknown. So I'm saying, but what specifically? What for you is the worst thing that could happen if you go in and do, start really going in and seeing all these memories, experiencing them, remembering them like you did earlier, and feeling all the feelings? What do you most fear happening if you do this? Is it getting overwhelmed by all the feelings? Is it having to remember all that shit? Is it, feeling so like, God, all the mistakes that you would feel like you make, or feeling so unwantable, feeling all the feelings? What is it if you go in, really fully commit and go into it all and start flushing, bring it up and flushing it out? What do you most fear happening? Because something's keeping you stuck, and it's a fear, and I want to know what that fear is.
It is, as contradictory as it sounds, being a solid man,
Why would you
Just
fear that?
it just comes with a lot of pressure put on your shoulders, a lot of weight.
So as long as I keep being who I am, I don't have to carry that weight and carry that responsibility. So as long as I sort of keep this way, well, in a way, I don't have to go back to being what I was in childhood. You had all that pressure on you in childhood, all the pressure to be that, as you called it, man of the house, or as you call it now, be a solid man. And it was too much.
I just feel like I'm not allowed to have any mistakes as hard as I try. And, but then I just continue to see the massive amount of pain and hurt I cause with repeating those same mistakes.
Mm-hmm. And the truth is, you're going to make plenty more mistakes in your life. You're going to make more mistakes in this marriage, even if you do heal. You're going to make mistakes. What your wife really wants, whether she's able to articulate it or not, I am willing to bet. What she's really wanting to see is reason to hope, more than just words. And so it's not that you become in 3 months mistake free. What people aren't able to put words to is what they're really wanting is a change. And this is what you need to begin to track. And I want you to remember these 3 words or write them down: duration, frequency, and intensity. Duration, frequency, and intensity. And think of them like the beeps on a heart monitor at the hospital. Beep, beep, beep. Okay. And each one of those is one of your flare-ups or one of your escapes or one of your checking out or one of your yelling at the 12-year-old, whatever it is. There's the duration. How long does it last? Beep, beep. Okay. There's the frequency. Beep, 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 beep. And there's the intensity. Beep. Okay. And so what you're trying to do is not eliminate the beeps altogether, because in all likelihood, you're never going to be mistake-free in a relationship. No one is. Rob's not, I'm not, KC's not, none of us are. As long as there are people in human relationships, there's always going to be the bumping of elbows and the bruising of ribs. What your wife wants, what you need to strive for is just, and what you can really chart is, am I seeing a reduction? Even if it's just in the beginning, it's just small, in the duration of my flare-ups or my check going into the workshop before how long I come out. Or once I'm in the workshop, in the duration, am I seeing an increase in the duration and how long I stay in the uncomfortable feelings? That duration's good. But am I seeing a decrease in the duration of my checking out or decrease in how long I stay angry? Okay. Even a bit and a bit more. Yeah. Okay. Frequency.
I see a difference, yeah.
Oh, you are seeing a difference. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
A decrease in the frequency of flare-ups. How often it's happening. And then a decrease in the intensity. Okay. So, and maybe you'll have growth in a couple areas, decreases in a couple areas, but one is still up. So what? You're seeing growth. You're seeing improvement. You're seeing decreases in certain areas. But if you're just wanting, no, it's either got to be all or nothing. Either it's completely gone or I'm fucked or I'm a piece of shit. No, that's just dumb. That's like telling someone who's 100 pounds overweight, until you have all the weight off, you're just dog shit. No, that's insane. What? You're kidding me. In 6 months, you have lost 32 pounds? How? That's insane. That's incredible. I'm so proud of you. What? In 6 months, you've lost 14 pounds? Hey, keep it up. That's awesome. Right? Encourage success, right? And everybody goes at different speeds. So you having decreases in those things, that's what you're looking for. Now, you were saying you've seen a decrease in duration?
It's, I would say, the flare-ups.
Okay.
I've seen less flare-ups.
Fewer, less frequent, you mean? Or less intense, or the duration of them? How long they last?
I would say the amount of them. And then when I do have that happen, the duration is a lot less, because then I'm catching myself and then trying to challenge myself as hard as it may be, instead of storming away, like try to stop and ask questions and not just shut it down and stonewall.
That's
So,
great.
yeah.
I mean, that's huge. That's great. And the truth is, the more you work on going into and flushing out your feelings, you're going to see those decrease more and more. And regarding your fear of the unknown and being a solid man, the more you get these tools and build these tools, you'll be able to flush out the pressures and so forth. And the truth is, you'll create a life that feels less and less pressure. Your pressure is actually coming from within.
Yeah.
It's coming from this fear of making any mistakes, any missteps. Your fear of, and the pressure is coming from, I can't screw up. All this anxiety, all of it, most of it is coming from inside.
Yeah.
And so the more you get that purge going, your fear of expectations and so forth, there'll still be some there, sure, but it's going to decrease radically.
Yeah.
All right. One of the things you said right at the very end of your write-up is you said, I want my partner to finally experience the version of me that I've never been able to fully become. How do you know it exists and you're not just a fucking asshole?
I don't want to be the asshole though. So
I believe you, but how do you know a version of you exists that you've never been able to fully become? How do you know it even exists?
I just choose to believe that I know I'm destined for better greatness in life.
Do you have evidence of this, even if it's small? Do you have evidence from past years or times in your life where this person has come out? Maybe even as recent as yesterday or 10 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me one example.
I guess just the other day, like I reached out and just sent like a check-in message to let her know where I was at, and that, I'm being aware of that I'm not getting into that workshop, and I'm not trying to run away from stuff. And so that's one of the things, is just trying to do a daily check-in and stay in the moment and not get out of control.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So that's an increase, or that's a decrease in your frequency of your checking out. You're checking back in with her.
Yeah.
That's a win. And one of the things you may share with her is what I talked about now on the show, that you can share with her that there are going to be those times if I'm in the workshop where I'm going to challenge myself to journal.
And I've started doing that.
It's great.
Every night I journal how the day went, what I was feeling. So then I try to go back the next day and reread and just kind of, again, challenge myself to get past this hurdle I've been stuck on forever.
Yeah, and where I really want you to go, the real shit is mom shit, dad shit from 30 years ago. That's where I want you to go. And not just 18, not just 14, but 12 and 9 and 7. That's where the gold is, because everything, all the damage was done. You said she stole my entire childhood.
Yeah.
And dad checked out. All the damage was being done before you're 4, before you're 8. That's when the biggest damage and all those messages got pressed into the wet cement of your soul. So that if you have the courage to go there, because in a way it's easy to focus on the everyday, because, hey, there's only so much time I have to journal, and then I get tired. And so I'll just flesh out the daily stuff. And that keeps you up here on the surface, but it never gets down to the core shit that is the real sticks and dynamite inside you. Because the real stuff, those messages, like, don't make a mistake. You better not, you're a fuck up. You should know better. That doesn't come from 3 fucking days ago. That doesn't come from 3 years ago. That comes from 33 years ago. 33 years ago. And that's where the root of the problem is. It's like weeding your fucking garden, man. It's like, fucking anything. You have to cut down to the root of the problem. Well, if you have the courage to start going down there, That's where you're going to just, brother, that is where you're going to really start to see change, because all the stuff after that grows out of that. So it's like, we get these fucking weeds in my garden. They're like literally like 4 feet tall. And sometimes we can't tell, is that a weed or is that a flower? What the hell is this? But once we figure out, oh, hey, Sven, you're a dumbass. It's actually a fucking weed. What I do when I go down and pull out the root, all that has grown out of that root, all that, not just the stalk, but that giant weed, 4-footer, has all these little branches and leaves coming out of it. Well, if I pull out the root, the whole fucking thing is gone. But if I just try to clip the little branches on that weed or pull the little fucking leaves off that weed, the fucking root is there, the stalk is there. But if I go down to the root, now the whole fucking thing crumbles. Right. That's what I want you doing. That's where the real shit is. So when you go back into the book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, and the follow-up, Badass Wisdom, when you go back into those, that's where I want you pushing yourself. You got to push yourself, because your therapist that you're working with only has an hour each week. Okay?
Yeah.
You've got to push yourself. That's where the meat is. And I guarantee you, again, you got to remind yourself of one thing, a bunch of things. Your wife needs to see hope. She doesn't need to see all the changes right now overnight, but she will begin to notice real changes. And your motor, the more you get those sticks of dynamite out, your motor beginning to slow down, you beginning to calm down a bit from pulling out those deepest roots, she's going to begin to notice it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't come from just focusing on the weekly, the daily. It comes from down there. Does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Do you have any questions for me, Dunlap?
Just knowing I got to get down in there, and that's where the change is going to happen. Shortly after I started listening to your show, I did purchase the book, and I work on cars, and so I just had my earbuds in, would listen throughout the whole day, and I've gone back and listened to it several times and just try to, it all made a lot of sense to me, and just trying to utilize all that stuff now. So
I'd actually like to have you back on the show. I'd like to bring you back in like a couple of months.
Okay.
I really would. And I don't do that very often. We've done it maybe 2 or 3 times. And just check back in, because I really sense that you want to.
Yeah.
And I believe in you that you will, and you got a lot of time to think. And so you're listening to those podcasts and in the working on cars, and God bless you, you have a gift that I do not have. I wish I had listened to my father. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. And Dad would always take me out there, and it was fucking cold in Minnesota, and I'm holding the light while he's doing this. And he taught me a few things, how to change the oil on a Honda and, some of that stuff. But I tell you what, I just never learned it. And I wish I would have. I never learned how to do my own fixings on our go-karts. And I wish I would have. One of my brothers does. I don't. So I respect you for that. So I can understand you get a chance to listen a lot. And now the next step is it's bringing up the stuff. Now the next step is getting it out. It's like, it's not enough with an engine. I know this much. You can't just keep pouring fresh oil into an engine. You got to change the oil. You got to get the cruddy old oil out. You got to do an engine flood, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Because that sediment will build up in the bottom of that fucking oil pan. And if you don't, and everything else, and in your gaskets, if you don't flush that fucker out, you can't just keep adding oil. Right. And you're going to hear everything else, the knock and the pings and all the other shit. Right. So you got to think of it that same way. You got to start flushing out the deepest crud out of that fucking engine that is you, because you got a beautiful engine. Obviously, your wife thinks so, and your kids do, and everything's going to get better, especially that relationship with that precious little 12-year-old, because she's going to watch you change, and the more you change, she's going to change right along with you.
Yeah.
But I really respect you for what you're doing. And I have hope for you. I think you might be interested in coming back on the show so we can hear about your progress.
Yeah, I would love to.
Awesome. One last question. What are you feeling right now? Give me a feeling word. What's going on inside of you?
Hope.
Good. Good. And you got this. It's just like the person who's 100 pounds going into the gym. Just start pecking away. You got it. And you've already been doing it. You've already got the good habits. All right. So just keep with it. Keep with it.
Yeah.
Duration, frequency, and intensity. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, Dunlap.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
I respect you so much. Somebody who has been an extreme taker / narcissist and opens up about it, you get my respect, man.
Well, thank you.
You betcha. Rob, any final thoughts?
I have hope for Dunlap too, Sven, and I'm wondering, in your opinion, is Dunlap in enough pain to actually change?
That's always the question, and it sure feels like it. Yeah, and people say, well, those patterns are so entrenched. You know, narcissists will never change, and it's not the patterns that are the problem. It's the core beliefs driving those. And I work with people all the time who have such powerful core beliefs they were taught about themselves. But when you're motivated, when that pain is, and to have kids around you that you know you're hurting, that you love, and to have a woman who's been so gracious to you, the mom that I never have, as he describes her, that's the motivation. I absolutely believe he has enough pain. It's staring him right in the face. I absolutely do believe it.
I happen to know cats take up a lot of your time, though.
Yeah, and quite frankly, if he were my client, I'd say, dude, I'm not trying to be a dick. Start lessening your responsibilities and free up some room in your life. But I love cats, so I get it. But let's let go of the gerbils and the hamsters and
there's a limit.
There is. But anyway, it's been great having you on the show, Dunlap. On behalf of all my listeners, we do thank you, Dunlap. On behalf of my team, we thank all of our listeners. Have a kick-ass day. Slay those fucking demons.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.